I used to come home from work and collapse straight onto the couch, still in my work clothes. Zero energy, zero motivation. Basically a phone battery at 1%. And the worst part, this was every single day. Work, come home, collapse, repeat. It felt like Groundhog Day. One night I caught myself watching raccoon heist videos on my phone. It made me chuckle, but when it ended, I still felt just as drained. I realized I'd wasted my evening on raccoons instead of actually recharging. If I kept that up, I'd stay a shell of a human. Something had to change. So I tried a bunch of little tweaks to reclaim my energy after work. And guess what? It worked. I found 7 things that helped me stop feeling like a zombie every night. I stopped bringing work home, mentally. I'd get home but still be mentally at the office. Checking emails, rehashing the day, worrying about tomorrow, so I never truly clocked out. One night around 9 p.m., I almost answered a work email out of habit. Then I thought, why am I acting like an on-call surgeon when I'm not? That night I set a rule, no work email or Slack after 7 p.m. I even deleted the email app from my phone. At first it felt weird, like I was slacking off. But the world didn't implode because I didn't reply at night. Instead, my evenings finally belonged to me. I could watch a movie without thinking about spreadsheets, or cook dinner without drafting emails in my head. It was like setting down a heavy load. I felt incredible relief and started looking forward to evenings, knowing work was done. 2. I created a post-work ritual to reset. I used to walk in and faceplant on the couch, too wiped to do anything. I needed a signal that the workday was over and me time had begun. So I made a goofy little ritual. The moment I walk in, I drop my keys and blast my favorite feel-good song. As it plays, I change into my softest t-shirt and sweatpants. Sometimes I even do a quick, silly dance, picture an injured flamingo trying ballet. As ridiculous as it sounds, it works. By the time I'm in comfy clothes, the stress is melting away, and my brain gets the memo. We're home, time to relax. I feel noticeably calmer and lighter. That ritual basically slams the door on my workday. 3. I got moving, even when I felt lazy. I thought I was too tired to exercise after work. Ironically, vegging out was making me more exhausted. So I did a tiny experiment, just 5 minutes of movement. One evening, I rolled out a yoga mat and stretched for 5 minutes. I was stiff, but after a few stretches my blood was flowing, and I felt a small spark of energy. That 5 minutes turned into 15, because it started feeling good. After that, I began taking short walks or having little dance parties in my kitchen most evenings. Nothing intense, just enough to get my body moving. And guess what? I even slept better on those days. Using a bit of energy to move gave me more energy back. It shook off my couch lock and made me feel human again. 4. I swapped scrolling for a hobby. My old routine: get home, eat something, then scroll on my phone or binge TV until bed. I called it relaxing, but it wasn't. I'd go to sleep, just as drained. So I decided to revive an old hobby instead. One night I dusted off my guitar and played a few songs. I was rusty, but those 10 minutes made me feel alive again. I even smiled to myself. After that, I promised I'd spend at least 15 minutes each evening, doing something fun that doesn't involve a screen. Some nights I play guitar or sketch, other nights I read or write in a journal. The key is, it's for me, active and enjoyable, not just mindless. Here's the wild part: on nights I do this, I feel more refreshed than after 3 hours of Netflix. Doing something creative actually nourishes me. I go to bed feeling a bit accomplished instead of empty and numb. It reminds me I'm more than just my job. 5. I stopped withdrawing and reached out when I was exhausted. My instinct was to withdraw. I'd ignore texts and give one-word answers, because I felt too tired to socialize. But sitting alone with my exhaustion made me feel even lonelier. One day, a friend dragged me out for coffee. I went, we talked, vented, laughed, and I left feeling lighter. That experience pushed me to make small social plans, even when I felt tired. I'd call my mom for a quick chat, or have dinner with a friend. I usually came away more energized and upbeat. A good laugh or a sympathetic ear was the best pick-me-up. It reminded me I'm not alone. 6. I practiced a little mindfulness after work. My brain was like a browser with 37 tabs open. I needed an off switch for those racing thoughts. So I tried mindfulness, even though I'm no Zen monk. I started with just 5–10 minutes of sitting quietly and focusing on my breath. My mind wandered a lot, Yozen, what's for dinner? Focus, but each time I gently brought it back to the breath. I didn't turn into a meditation guru, but it helped. Those few minutes of quiet dialed down the mental noise. On nights I meditate, or even just step outside and breathe slowly for a bit, I sleep easier and feel less tense. It's like giving my brain permission to unplug. That little pocket of peace made me feel more in control of my thoughts. 7. I made sleep a priority. I used to stay up late to reclaim me time, one more episode, or a bit of late night scrolling, and then I'd be a zombie the next day. I finally admitted I couldn't keep running on fumes, and needed real sleep. So I set a bedtime 10:30 p.m., and stuck to it. I also created a wind-down routine, screens off 30 minutes before bed, a cup of herbal tea, maybe a few pages of a book. I treated sleep like an important meeting. It was tough at first, but I kept at it. And the payoff was huge. Waking up after a full night's rest felt like going from 0% to 100% battery. I stopped dreading my alarm. Once sleep became non-negotiable, everything else got easier, because I finally had energy in the tank. The deeper truth I thought coming home drained was just how life goes. But these changes showed me those hours after work aren't just recovery time, they're part of my life, and I can shape them. Life isn't meant to be merely survived between work shifts. By setting boundaries, finding little joys, connecting with others, and truly resting, I started to feel like me again. I'm no longer just working then crashing. I have rituals and small pleasures that make my evenings mine. Not every night is perfect, but I'm not stuck in that loop anymore, and taking back my evenings has done wonders for me. So if you're feeling drained after work, it doesn't have to stay that way. You don't need a massive overhaul. A few small tweaks can make a big difference. You deserve to feel alive and happy outside of work. Trust me, if my burnt-out self could do it, anyone can. One evening at a time, you can recharge and enjoy life again.